Leading at 1 o'clock today is a big win for mine workers as a landmark judgment has been reached in the silicosis class action lawsuit application. The South Gauteng High Court has ruled in favour of miners. In October last year, over 50 former mine workers applied for certification of a class action against 32 gold companies. The workers were seeking compensation for having contracted silicosis while working at the mines. The mining companies opposed the certification, but today the court ruled in favour of the mine workers, saying, quote, there is sufficient evidence for a class action, one for silicosis and one for TB. Another one, mine workers correctly point out if class action is not certified, each miner will have to bring an individual application. Mine workers are poor and won't be able to access the courts individually.
Today's judgment is a very important milestone for them, where the court effectively said that you can proceed as a class of mine workers against the gold mining companies such as Anglo-American South Africa, AngloGold Ashanti, Harmony Goldfields, and African Rainbow Minerals, and a few other mining companies. There are summons against the mining companies where the common issues will first be determined, those issues that affect all the miners across the board. If we're successful with the common issues, then each mine worker will then have to state his intention of opting in, because then it becomes individual.
It's a great day. It's a victory for our clients, the miners. It's been a long fight. The Legal Resources Centre has been involved in litigating on behalf of silicotic miners since 2004. So now we're having this class certified. Basically, it means that we're a step closer to getting what we have always envisioned. That is to compensate the broader class of all miners that have been affected by gold mining.
We are very elated with this judgment as Sonke Gender Justice at two levels. One, the fact that the courts have actually shifted the grounds for access to justice by the poor by permitting this class action, that many people who otherwise not be able to access courts will now be able to do so through this process. We think it's massive, it's huge, it's big. It's going to change the landscape in South Africa for justice. But as an organization that works for the rights of women and gender transformation, we're also particularly elated that the judgment spends time talking about the transmissibility of the benefits that we accrue once the final determinations have been made. That as common law currently stands, we are told that the law does not allow that the beneficiaries of the decease of the miners will benefit if the miner dies, for instance, in the process. But the court ordered that this common law be changed so that even those who pass on, their families, especially women who bore the brand of care and children, will benefit from the estate. So it's massive for us. It's going to make a lot of difference for many women who have spent many years, a lot of time, taking care of ex-miners once they become sick without any support from the mining company.
Today's decision has made me happy. I'm very grateful to our attorneys as well. We've lost money. Today we have found something better.
Many mine workers in the past have been disadvantaged by unsafe working conditions, which have frankly ruined their health. And this is the first step towards them getting compensation. And it's the first step in the sense that it has just opened the way for a class action, for a court case. So although the court case hasn't come yet, it seems that that's going to be the next step. What this means is that if they can prove in court that the diseases, silicosis and tuberculosis, resulted because of avoidable harm, in other words, if the mining company could have avoided their workers getting these diseases and didn't, then I think there'll be a very strong case for compensation.
Earlier, we spoke to NUM Health Safety National Chairperson, Mr. Peter Bailey, for reaction.
We must say that it's but one round of a much more bigger process that is going to take place, because this is just that there's sufficient evidence for a class action. But given the fact that there's already a settlement through AngloGold Ashanti and Anglo-American, and then also the asbestos processes, one can almost predict what direction the outcome of the case is going to be. And we're quite excited about it, because as the NUM, we have always advocated the fact that mine owners should not concentrate or depend solely on the fact that the statutory compensation is adequate. They have contributed to the plight of the black mine workers in South Africa.
Well, this has been described as a case that has been going on for more than 10 years. It first started with a miner who brought forth his application against a gold mining company, and his case was dismissed. And a few weeks before a judgment was to be handed down in the Constitutional Court, he unfortunately lost his life, and therefore that's what started this whole process with 56 mine workers and their families bringing this application. And it is estimated that over 200,000 people are to benefit from today's historic judgment. And the Deputy Judge President Mojapelo in court today saying that it was impossible for each individual miner to bring an individual case to the court. Therefore, this morning he gave the mine workers the green light, of course, to bring forth this class action lawsuit against the gold mining sector. But the process from here on now, of course, as I've said, the gold mining companies will continue working with the representatives of the miners, and an individual process will also come in where it will have to make a determination whether each miner that has contracted TB or died from silicosis did so indeed contracted by working underground. But of course, as I've said, this has been hailed as a historic judgment. It has been described by the Treatment Action Campaign, who admitted as the Friends of the Court as a David versus Goliath battle, saying that it goes to prove that no one is above the Constitution.